Hello, welcome back to Mancinima. I trust you are all well. This is the episode that I hope some of you have been waiting for. This is my review of Halloween Ends. As you know, I'm a big Halloween fan. I've got the boys over here. The man on the t-shirt over there, somewhere. There he is. And I know some of you have been waiting to hear my opinion on this film because I am such a big Michael Myers and Halloween movie fan. We will get to that in a second. What I want you to do first for me is if you can give this video a like, the usual little thumbs up button, if you can click that down there. It's free. If you don't like the video afterwards, you can unclick it. I don't mind. If you can subscribe to the channel, that would be great because I've got loads of different videos on here that I think you'll enjoy, including others on Halloween and others on horror movies. And if you can hit the notification bell, you'll know when I've done another one of these videos. Right, with that out of the way, let's talk about Halloween Ends. So, Halloween Ends opened in the UK on the 14th of October, which was this past Friday. It opened in the US on Thursday the 13th of October, so they got it a day before us. I purposely stayed away from any reviews, any plot spoilers and stuff like that, so I could go in fresh, watch the movie with my own eyes and experience it for myself. However, a couple of things did come out that I kind of took notice of, which was the American audiences were not enjoying this film. They were saying, oh, it's the worst entry in the David Gordon Green trilogy, it's a terrible Halloween film, this and that, and then at that moment I kind of stepped away from the reviews. I thought, right, I don't want to see any more, I just want to go into this movie cold, enjoy it for myself or not enjoy it for myself, and then give you my opinion once I've seen it. So let's do that. First of all, I did enjoy the movie. I really did enjoy the movie. I thought it was actually a solid movie. I thought it was a solid script. I thought the cinematography was beautiful. It really gave you that real autumn, October feeling with the kids going up and down the street trick-or-treating and the leaves falling. You really felt like you were in October, you know, in that Halloween period. So that's nice, that's really good because it really places you within the context of the story. Yeah, I thought it was a solid script. I actually thought it was really good. I thought there was great characterisation. I thought the character building in this movie was better than it's been in any of the David Gordon Green movies. It's like, you know, they've had those years off where they've took their time with the characters, really built the characters, got to know the characters. Laurie Strode in particular in this one is fantastic. I thought she was pretty terrible in the last couple of movies. I mean, she really didn't do anything in Halloween Kills. She just laid in her bed and mumbled a bit. But in this one, they've really took time to kind of develop her character. Now she's gotten over, or trying to get over, the trauma of the past. You know, the 1978 incident, the 2018 incident. And she's trying to get on with her life in so much that she's even embracing Halloween. You see her in this movie carving a pumpkin. And you see her kind of just embracing the enjoyment of Halloween. She's making a pumpkin pie. She's talking to Alison about going out in fancy dress for the evening over the Halloween holidays. So it's like she's really trying to put that trauma behind her. She knows that Michael wasn't after her after all this time, and yeah, she's moving forward. Alison herself is a little bit more damaged than Laurie in this movie. I think Alison is struggling with what's happened. I mean, if you think about the 2018 movie and Halloween Kills. She lost both of her parents, she's lost all of her friends, and now she's living with her grandma in this house in Haddonfield, and not really knowing what she wants to do with her life. She's a little bit of a lost soul in this one, and she portrays it very well. Andy Matichek really plays this part very, very well indeed. So yeah, we've got great characterisation. You get Lindsay turn up again, and you know, she interacts with Laurie as an old friend. Of course, Lindsay being the little girl that Laurie babysat for in the original Halloween movie. And yeah, there's a really nice feel to this movie, like everybody's moving on with their life. But there's certain incidents where the town doesn't really forget, and you see Laurie kind of not attacked at the supermarket, but she certainly gets approached by this angry woman who says that because of Laurie, she believes Laurie antagonised Michael Myers, that Laurie is the cause of all the trouble that the town had back in 2018 on the night of, obviously, Halloween Kills. And of course, as you would expect from a Halloween movie, there are some superb special makeup effects from Christopher Nelson, who supplied effects for the last two movies, Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills. There's one kill in particular which made me laugh. I had a bit of a giggle at the end of it. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I think I've spoiled a few things in this video already, but go and watch the movie and you'll hopefully know the bit that I'm talking about. Involves a record player, all I'm saying. So let's just go back over the positives. I thought this was a really enjoyable film. I thought the script was solid. I thought the characterizations were really good. Like I said, especially Laurie Strode and Alison in this one. I thought the cinematography was fantastic, and once again, just to say, the special makeup effects were fantastic. We are hooked into this film right from the very start, and I thought that was a good thing. There's a little intriguing prologue And we come in and we're introduced to a character called Corey Cunningham, and he's played by Rowan Campbell. And he's babysitting a young child in a house as the parents go out to enjoy Halloween evening, and a tragic incident happens, and basically Corey is seen as a bit of a pariah for the city afterwards. Everybody shuns him, everybody calls him names and stuff like that, and he's really beaten down. What you can draw from this is, if you've seen the movie Christine, if you look at the character of Arnie Cunningham, now I'm sure that the name was used as a coincidence, you'll be along the right track. So it's very similar to the way that Arnie Cunningham is in the movie Christine. As you know, he's a bit of a dweeb, and he gets picked on by a bunch of kids, and then once he acquires Christine, takes on a new persona, takes on a new personality, and begins to take revenge against those people. And that is kind of underlyingly the plot of Halloween Ends. And that is basically what happens. Now, this is where the problems with the film begin for a lot of people. The film is focused on Corey Cunningham, in so much that characters like Laurie Strode and Alison are sidelined somewhat. They kind of pop in and out of the story, and yes, they do have a strong part in the story, but Corey Cunningham is the core focus of this movie, and that is a bit of a shame for a character that's come in so late into the picture. By all means, what they should have done basically is introduced him in Halloween 2018, maybe had him at the Halloween party, introduced him at the beginning, see him again in Halloween Kills, see him how he's affected by the trauma that's going on all around with the Halloween Kills situation, because there was a big bloodbath, as you know, and then by the time we get to Halloween Ends, we already know this character. The problem with this one is that he's introduced in this film, and far too much time is spent with Corey Cunningham. Also, in so much that, and you'll be surprised to hear this, and you know, I was shocked to see this, Michael Myers is barely in the film. Michael shows up at the 40-minute mark when he's discovered by Corey Cunningham living in a sewer, and he kind of does a couple of kills, and then he's sidelined through the end of the movie, where he pops back for like the final act for his final confrontation with Laurie Strode. And I guess that's what pissed a lot of Halloween fans off. I guess we want Michael Myers in our Halloween movie. And, you know, that's a huge problem when the focus is on this Corey Cunningham character. That's not to say that Corey Cunningham isn't a great character. He's really interesting, he's really great to follow. But somehow you feel that this should have been done as a side project. I really would have wanted more Michael Myers in my final film. Yeah, as for that final confrontation, it's all very brief. Michael kind of comes back towards the end of the film, meets up with Laurie again, they have a bit of a scuffle, and then it kind of ends and the whole story kind of wraps up, and you just feel like, well, hang on a minute, Michael really hasn't appeared in this movie at all, and it's quite troubling, really. Especially for a Halloween movie. I guess we all wanted a bit of a stronger Michael focus. If you think about the build-up, the whole thing that's been going on throughout the whole of these three films is the conflict between Laurie and Michael, especially in that first movie, and then obviously they were both separated in Halloween Kills, and you were expecting a grand finale, a great big grand final battle between these two giants of this Halloween franchise. And yeah, you get a little battle at the end and you get a resolution at the end, but it's not as strong as what we wanted. We really wanted to go out on a big kind of high. I'm not talking about silly special effects and silly giant final battles with giant weapons and stuff like that, which would have made the thing kind of very overblown. What I'm talking about is just basically having a good, solid final confrontation in the movie. What I would like to have seen in this movie is maybe, you know, what I'd love from the very first Halloween movie, which I've always wanted from these movies, which I've not received, which is a lot more stalking, a lot more hiding in the shadows, a lot more taking people out. Michael's been gone for 4 years. So what could have happened is that, you know, bodies were disappearing here and there. You could have built up the fear in the city. You could have been saying, well, hang on a minute, who's doing this? Is this Michael doing this? And they do try a little bit of that at the beginning of the film. You see bodies around Haddonfield, and the police officer comes along and says, well, that's not Michael Myers, because Michael doesn't use a gun, because these two people are shot through the head. And yeah, I thought that was a bit of a great shame, a bit of a great loss. As a culmination, if you like, of the 40 years of Halloween, which is what this was supposed to be, to sum the whole story up from 1978 to now, it's just not a strong enough movie. It really isn't. Like I say, it's enjoyable on its own merits, but if you're looking at it as a Halloween sequel, it's just not good enough, I'm afraid. It's not strong enough. So on the whole, this film is kind of frustrating. I mean, I loved it for what it was. I loved, like I said, all the characterization. I loved the story itself. I just don't think it's a very good ending to the Halloween saga as a whole. I would personally have liked to have seen this as maybe like a little spin-off TV movie where you could have concentrated on Corey Cunningham himself, do his story, and then kind of weave him into a final, good, strong Halloween finale, a really strong third movie. The fact that Corey Cunningham takes up so much of this movie, it basically destroys the ability to have the other characters in the film. So you lose lots of Laurie Strode, you lose lots of Alison, and you lose lots of Michael Myers himself, especially Michael Myers himself. Like I say, he appears sparingly in this film. There are plentiful kills in this film, however, not all of them are done by Michael Myers. So I think he's only got like maybe three kills in this entire movie. I think he had 31 in Halloween Kills, and I don't know what's happened is whether they thought, well, we'll upload kind of Halloween Kills, we'll get loads of kills in Halloween Kills, and then that will kind of let us get away with what we're going to do in Halloween Ends by not having him do very much at all. And it just feels so unbalanced. It really doesn't feel right for this to be the end of the Halloween saga. Of course there are going to be more Michael Myers movies. They're not going to let Michael Myers die. Somewhere down the line there's going to be either a new timeline or something that's spin-off of this timeline which will bring Michael Myers back. Back to his good old stalking, hiding in the shadows, playing games, you know, everything that we all loved about that first movie. Let's get some of that back, instead of having Michael being this kind of older, weaker character who also does these ultra-violent kills. I mean, didn't we all love Michael Myers from that first movie when he was playing tricks and hiding in the shadows and dressing up as Bob in the Sheet outfit? In these three movies, all that seems to be focused on is the violence of Michael Myers, all the brutality and stuff like that. And that's not what I wanted from these Halloween movies. What I wanted was a lot more of the stalk, a lot more of the hiding, and a lot more of the playing games. For me, that is Michael Myers in my head. And this is only in my head, maybe it's in your head too, I don't know. But in my head, Michael is a child trapped in a man's body, and he uses Halloween to play his tricks and treats. And that's what I loved about that first movie. However, the movie is what it is. It is enjoyable. Like I say, if you can take it on its own terms, it's an enjoyable movie. It's got some fun characters and great characterization. It looks good. It sounds good. John Carpenter's score is one of the best that he's done in recent years. So I do recommend that you go and see this movie. But I just would love to know in the comments down below what your opinion is, whether you thought it was a bit of a letdown, basically. Like I say, I'm split on opinion on the side that it's the last. Well, it's not going to be the last Halloween movie, but in the last movie in this saga, which is saying it's the last part of the Halloween saga, it's a letdown. In a movie on its own rights, I actually thought it was pretty good. So, you know, split opinion. Let me know what you think. As usual, come down into the comments, let's have a chat about this. I'd love to interact with some of you. I know some people have been writing to me recently, that's been really good. I've really enjoyed kind of talking back and saying, you know, what do you think of this, what do you think of that, so that's been great. So please, let's have some more of that, really enjoy it. We'll be back with more movie reviews as per usual, and there's some more horror videos to come, of course. It's Halloween month, so we've got a lot more scary stuff to come. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, please give it a subscribe, and please hit the notification bell, and as I say, please come and have a chat in the comments. But please do also go and see Halloween Ends. Go and see it while it's at the cinema, because there's nothing worse than seeing a film at home wishing that you'd seen it at the cinema. Go and see it while it's at the cinema. I don't think it'll be around very long, because these horror movies don't tend to last very long at the cinema. But yeah, please do go and see it there, and I hope you get some enjoyment from it at the very least. I know it might be a disappointment as a Halloween movie, but it's an enjoyable film in its own right, and I hope that you can get something from that. So thank you once again for joining me. We'll speak again soon.